Reglan eliminates vomiting of any origin. Has a regulating effect on the motility of the gastrointestinal tract, increases the amplitude of the cuts of the antral part of the stomach, the tone of the lower sphincter of the esophagus, relaxes the pyloric sphincter, accelerates the emptying of the stomach, normalizes the peristalsis of the stomach, stimulates the peristalsis of the duodenum and small intestine. Vomiting, like its previous nausea, is a complex reflex reaction involving the vomiting center located in the brain, the so-called emetic reflex zones in the digestive tract, the vestibular apparatus and a special trigger zone located near the vomiting center. Physiologically, vomiting is one of the protective mechanisms that relieve the body of foreign irritants. The mechanism of the occurrence of vomiting is not fully understood, and the variety of causes that cause it does not make it possible to treat vomiting as a symptom of a certain disease. Doctors usually diagnose 3 types of vomiting: central, or nervous, vomiting arising from poisoning, and actually reflex vomiting. Central vomiting is observed in diseases and lesions of the brain. It can also be a conditioned reflex to a food product. The second type of vomiting is the result of the accumulation in the blood of exogenous poisons and toxins, including drugs, or products formed during metabolic disorders. And, finally, reflex vomiting is most often associated with the pathology of the digestive system and can be observed, in particular, with gastritis, gastric ulcer and duodenal ulcer, gallbladder inflammation, cholelithiasis. In most cases, such vomiting is associated with eating. It is curious that before the Second World War the study of the vomiting reflex was of no special interest. Only the massive development of sea and air sickness among servicemen prompted the study of this problem. The task was to find drugs for the treatment of motion sickness syndrome. In sea and air sickness, and easier, with motion sickness, vomiting is associated with excessive excitation of the vestibular apparatus, from where, with the participation of the cerebellum, it is transmitted to the vomiting center. Acetylcholine and histamine are involved in the transmission of excitation, so drugs blocking their receptors help with such conditions. These include scopolamine, meclocin, promethazine, diphenhydramine and others. When soaking, soothing agents are also useful: peppermint, validol. The diagnosis, which is established by the doctor, determining the nature of vomiting, is crucial when choosing a medicine. Thus, when vomiting is caused by local irritation of the stomach, enveloping and astringents are effective. Local anesthetics. When vomiting of the central origin is helped by neuroleptics, chlorpromazine, haloperidol and others, which reduce the excitability of the emetic center and the start zone. In the transfer of impulses to the emetic center, including from the trigger zone, mediators of the central nervous system such as dopamine and serotonin play an active role. Therefore, azaprotiv or votini funds use the number of drugs that prevent the activation of receptors by these mediators. So, effective antiemetics are blockers of dopamine receptors: domperidone, metoclopramide, thiethylperazine, granisetron, ondansetron, tropostron. Screening serotonin-sensitive receptors are very powerful. Reglan eliminates vomiting of any origin. Has a regulating effect on the motility of the gastrointestinal tract, increases the amplitude of the cuts of the antral part of the stomach, the tone of the lower sphincter of the esophagus, relaxes the pyloric sphincter, accelerates the emptying of the stomach, normalizes the peristalsis of the stomach, stimulates the peristalsis of the duodenum and small intestine.